I thought of that.
Welcome to the Bombad Cast.
What is up, my Bombad people? Here we are. Look, y'all, we just survived this weekend, the D23 weekend. I can barely breathe. I posted that my throat was dry. I was walking through Lowe's and I had to stop myself and take a breather when they dropped that Rise of Skywalker poster. But enough about that. We're going to get into that later. I am hype. I am so ready to bring in my man, my dude, Ewok boy. Can't even say without laughing.
You're gonna make it stick, man. My goodness.
I said Ewok boy. I said Ewok man.
It's a full-on Ewok man over here.
The one and only Ewok man I'm talking about, the Canon Junkie, and I mean my dude Jerry Cable. What is up, Jerry?
Not much, Scotty. Not much, man. I can't tell you. Gosh, what a crazy weekend.
I'm like sick.
I used the what is it? I used the GIF of the guy from Sanford and Sons giving like fake heart attacks so many
Red Fox
that I almost actually had a heart attack. It's so insane. And gosh, I don't know. You know, Scotty, I don't think we need to keep the people in the dark any longer because we have a guest this week.
We do have a guest. Look, I love it. We have a guest.
You know, and let's go ahead and who do we have, guys? Who do we have? Well, let me tell you. I'm gonna bring him in right now. His name is Mr. Brad Whipple of Friends of the Force. Brad, how are you doing tonight, man?
Hello, I'm still reeling from D23. If I had a gift to describe my emotions right now, it's always the Kermit meme of him flipping out, throwing his arms around behind that red curtain. That is just me all the time in the Star Wars season.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Gotta respect that, man. That's fantastic. Anytime you bring Kermit into the conversation, I'm 100% into it and stuff. I haven't heard. Man. Kermit's my spirit animal.
Jared is a pretty good
all
Kermit.
Day, every day. Yeah.
Oh, we pull it out. It sounds like it's that and my George Lucas kind of like step into the same territory, but you know.
See, my.
Oh man.
Oh, sorry, Jerry.
No, you're good. I thought you wanted me to show off, so here we go. Oh, gee, man, all this bomb news coming out this week. This is so crazy. I can't believe it. I've had probably too much coffee. I've had too much coffee to do it, but anyway, and my George Lucas kind of like falls in the same territory. Anyway,
my GIF of choice, my GIF of GIF. My choice is there's one I found recently of Oprah, and she's like doing this thing with her face, and then it goes to a cat doing the same thing, and then another one's the Ron Burgundy, and I'm enclosed in that telephone
glass
booth.
Case of emotion.
Glass case of emotion. That's a really good one. But I've really enjoyed using, and I'm sure y'all have seen it. Is the Kylo and Han one? I've been making new ones for that each time, where Han's chest gets pierced and Kylo's.
Why would you do that to me, Scott?
I don't know, but it makes me
back bad
laugh.
Memories.
It makes me laugh each time. But anyway, I digress. Look, we got to get our updates in. Well, Jerry, how have you been? What's been going on with you, buddy?
Well, you know what? I don't know. I'm not done talking about my favorite GIFs yet, but okay, whatever. You know, we can discuss if it's GIF or GIF or whatever later. Man, I've been doing good. I don't know. We just for one thing, this felt like before I went to Celebration, like watching Celebration online. Like these news drops were insane, and we're gonna get into that later. But that's kind of what my weekend has been, is just kind of like doing that. I guested on a little show called Blue Milk Cafe.
Nice.
Okay, and I believe the episode dropped that evening, so you can go check that out. Mr. Jeff Feinbach, or Porgbach, if you will, on Twitter. Go check out @LazyPorg and his shows, that and the cast. But no, I got to stop by the Blue Milk Cafe and hang out, and that was a lot of fun. We just kind of geeked out about Stranger Things. Scotty, I know. I don't know if you
No,
finished season 3 yet.
I didn't.
Don't touch it until after you finish the first half because we talk about this news and stuff. But anyway,
Okay.
Scotty, what have you been up to, my man?
Well, recently, everything in my home decided to break. I was grading test on Thursday, and Thursday evening, I was grading test and watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia, my favorite show, and the TV just went completely white. And I'm like, must be the Fire Stick. I get up, I change the settings, I do all that. Nope. It's a very old flat screen from 2007. It's like one of the first flat screens.
Wow.
So it finally had gone out, and then of course all bad things come in threes. So my fridge went out, and
Oh no.
what was the last thing to have gone out? I don't think. Well, this doesn't count, but we have to buy countertops because we still don't have countertops for our kitchen cabinets yet. So that's one thing. One other update that I would love to tell everyone about. I was recently teaching my students about the scientific method and how important it is to get data and draw conclusions. And I showed them our statistics, Jerry, for the Bombad cast and who listens where and how many downloads we get per episode. So
my
all
God.
of our kids know our stats.
amazing.
And they're like, how many people listen? I'm like, well, we got over 1,000 downloads since we started in July. And they're like, no way, we want to listen to it now. So, for my children.
Only because they think we're popular.
Yes. And they're like, how many? The best thing is, I love this question. How many subscribers do you have on YouTube? And I'm like, think we have about 50 right now? They're like, no way. And it's just, I just love that. And, yeah, no, that's pretty much the updates. Oh, we crossed the 400 follower mark, so thank you everyone that did that. That was crazy. We've actually
you, guys.
gone up since too. Like we had I guess one person follow us that had a lot of followers, and then we got 25 more in the past 2 days. So it's been
So
wild.
many people. That was a crazy whirlwind night. I think that was Friday or something.
Yes,
Thursday
it was.
Friday evening, and I posted that. I was like, oh, we're like only a couple away from 400. So I posted that we're only 2 away, and then we got them really quick. And I mean, you'll see I did that one, and then I did hey, we're only 1 more, and then I was like, hey, we did it. And I can't tell you, 3 days after that, people were liking the we're only 2 away. So I think oh, they're only 2 away. I'll go help. So we catfished a bunch of you guys. So welcome. Glad you're here. But anyway, Brad, how's your week been going, man? How are things going for you?
Yeah, they're going pretty good. I'm pretty excited about Labor Day weekend coming up here. I don't know about you guys, but
Heck yeah.
I'm having that
Yeah.
Monday off, and I got Thursday and Friday off this week, so it's going to be a lot
Awesome.
of talking Star Wars and having fun, and I'm super stoked. Friends of the Force is going really well, and I'm just happy to be on it's my second guest spot, and I'm pretty stoked about it. So
Dude, we're super happy to have you and stuff. And also, congrats on joining the Escape Pods network as well. That
you.
was fantastic, man. So really, really excited for you with that.
Yeah, it was a real honor. So I'm super excited to be on that network.
Fantastic.
And just happy to be here.
Fantastic. Well, we have to get to our traditional Bombad fact of the show. And this week's Bombad fact is coming from the one and only Bombad man himself. I'm referring to the Canon Junkie, the Ewok man, the one and only Jerry Cable. Jerry,
Thank you for calling me an Ewok man.
it's going to be that forever now. I'm the Def Leppard of Star Wars podcast. And
I'm the Ewok guy who you want to remove his eyelids. So, no.
And post-production, we'll add them in. But I'll remove them when recording this show. But they will be removed. Anyway, what is your Bombad fact of the show, my man?
Well, you said it was tradition, Scott, and per tradition, you guys, I always talk about it. I got to the notes, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to come up with a Bombad fact. So, our Bombad fact of the show, of Mr. Jar Jar Binks, it can be about Jar Jar. It can be about our man, the one and only Ahmed Best. And today, the Bombad fact of the show is this, and I had no idea. This is really cool.
Yes.
You need another reason to love Ahmed Best, which you don't. We love him to pieces on the show. Ahmed Best wrote and helped choreograph Yoda's infamous fight scene, and they've got a picture of Revenge of the Sith here. Let me read just a little bit. This, again, comes from an article from Screen Rant, my go-to. See, remember things about the Star Wars prequels that irk fans. Jar Jar is high on the list of, with one another at the moment. Yoda's fight scene in Attack of the Clones, while many fans, sorry, it was Attack of the Clones, while many fans were more than excited to see the Jedi Master finally put his considerable skills to work, others thought the fully CG Yoda was hokey and took away from Yoda's majesty. Oddly, the two prequels' most controversial moments were tied together by Ahmed Best.
Wow.
So he like helped choreograph. Let me see that other fight scene between Palpatine and him, and gosh, how crazy is that?
That is wild.
That man. Look, say what you will about the character of Jar Jar, and quite frankly, I will that you would say good things. But gosh, Ahmed Best is a talented man. They picked him for his physicality, and you just look at the guy and just kind of the resume that he has, and of course they picked him to help kind of choreograph this fight between Yoda and the Emperor. I mean, my goodness, that's one of my favorite parts of the entire movie of Revenge of the Sith too.
It's a great scene. Brad, what'd you think of that Bombad fact? You liked it?
That's a pretty mind-blowing fact to me, because you don't really think of Ahmed Best past just his standing in for Jar Jar and doing a lot of that work. So the fact that he's heavily involved in some of the choreography, I'm like surprised.
Yeah.
But I'm also not surprised because of like you said, he is pretty jacked, honestly, too. He's a strong guy.
Dude.
He knows how to do action sequences and stuff. So I'm still kind of disappointed, though. There wasn't any tongue numbing, like how Jar Jar had his tongue numbed with the pod race. Where is any of that goofy stuff in the fight? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's really missing.
My least favorite part of the fight was when Yoda stuck his head into the energy binder.
Yes. That was the weirdest
No.
I mean,
part.
Yoda's being electrocuted that whole time. You're telling me his tongue didn't get numb at any point
Yeah.
like Jar Jar's? I mean, come on.
Oh man, no,
That's awesome.
That was so crazy, and like, man, I wish I could find more of those weird facts, like the stuff, like one of the first ones I ever did, Brad, was Jar Jar Binks started out as a tadpole.
Yeah.
And that is like one of the weirdest things I think we could ever. We make references to that all the time.
All the time.
Like spermy Jar Jar Binks like swimming around and like.
That is interesting.
And
It's
then,
kind of a horrible visual that no one really wants.
Yeah, I don't need that in the
And
fan.
then we
A little
also-
bit of nightmare fuel, but
Exactly. We also hear about Jar Jar's verbally abusive father. So that's another thing that we get into. So if you haven't listened, listen to our previous episodes and listening right now, you need to make sure you get to this one, then go back and listen, because we have some interesting facts each episode.
well, hey, if you guys, let me shout out to the listeners here. If you guys have a Bombad fact that we haven't covered yet, that you want us to kind of talk about in
over.
the show, hey, send them our way, man. We love the help.
So
Especially me, who comes up with things 10 minutes before the show.
yes, it's how it works. But look, we are here today for one huge discussion. Usually we have a segment that deals with, the news, and then we go into the discussion. But today's discussion is the news, and I am talking about the amazing things we've heard at D23 this past week. Now, keep in mind, we were recording the Sunday evening of D23, and everything that we've heard about has been dropped, but we still have not seen that footage that we are promised to be released on Monday. So, for our Tuesday listeners, I guess we'll have probably our next episode will do a lot with what we saw in that incredible Rise of Skywalker footage. But look, we're here to have our D23 discussion. There was so much that was dropped this week, fellas, and I am absolutely just I'm living on a high right now that I couldn't express. It feels like celebration over again. And and the first thing that was dropped this past week that kind of got a little overshadowed was the news from Kathleen Kennedy. The first thing she said when she walked out there by Disney Plus at the Disney Plus panel was Clone Wars is going to come back in February of 2020. All right, Brad, what'd you think of that news, man? What was your first initial thought? And they had a really awesome photo that dropped with it.
Again, I go back to that Kermit gif. That's just truly me this whole weekend. I'm a huge Clone Wars fan, and when Revenge of the Sith ended, and we got that Clone Wars movie in 2008, and that whole series, that is what I really connected to,
Yeah.
and that whole series has such a special place in my heart. When it got canceled, I was super bummed, but then we got the Netflix Lost Missions, which was
Right.
a ton of fun. I binged that the first day it was out. I just couldn't wait.
That's awesome.
So to have that, just like have that be it again, it's still like anytime there's an ending to something, it really does bum you out, no matter what it is. So to have Clone Wars saved last year and now realizing it's still so far away yet so close,
Right.
I get goosebumps thinking about
So
it and
close.
seeing that picture Star Wars posted with Maul turning around and seeing Ahsoka. She's on like a balance beam. She's not even on like the ground. She's like on the thinnest balance beam ever, which makes me think they're fighting in like the rafters or something.
Right.
So that just, I cannot wait to see the Siege of Mandalore. It's going to be one of the most like pinnacle things of Star Wars I'm guessing that we've ever seen. And with Dave Filoni behind it, I have full faith.
Well, and I believe we were all three in that panel at Celebration, the Clone Wars panel, and my gosh, that trailer got so much. Like, can you remember like the reaction of the crowd to that trailer? Every single part of that, like
It was awesome.
to think that we are getting that in February. And I know a lot of people kind of thought, I think a lot of people thought we were going to get that day one of.
I'm glad we didn't.
Plus dropping. No, there would have been too much. You would have been like, it would have been like
So much.
Sophie's Choice.
Yeah,
I
agree.
What am I gonna watch? Am I gonna watch this? The Mandalorian or that? And so
Funny enough you say that because I just thought about this too. November alone, and December, of course. November, we're getting Fallen Order. Boom, they're going to drop that. Then we're going to get Mandalorian, at least 3 episodes out of that month, and then the episodes preceding it, probably the rest of it. And then we're going to get Rise of Skywalker. I'm so happy that it's not going to get overshadowed by all 3 of those things. And we're going to have some time to think about Rise of Skywalker and Fallen Order, and hopefully the Mandalorian probably be coming to an end right there. And then we can finally take in, everything that's going to happen with, and more than likely, it just dawned on me too, we'll probably end up getting the very kickback into Resistance as well at the same exact time as Clone Wars as well. I just thought about that. And
you get Resistance Reborn and the Secrets of the Jedi the same week as Mandalorian and Fallen Order, and then the Rise of Kylo Ren comic book. Guys, we're going to be inundated with Star Wars. We're going to be bleeding galaxies far, far away from our
crazy.
fingertips.
But with the Clone Wars news being dropped, I'm so happy we finally got a confirmation, because all we knew at that first panel was 2020. That's all we knew. And to have it come out in February, it's going to be nice, because it's going to kind of... it's going to bridge that gap. It's going to be, hopefully, if they did do it this way, I'd be happy. If they did it a week by week as what they're going to do with The Mandalorian, I would be happy with that. Or they might drop it all at once. I don't care what they do. I think it's going to be great regardless.
The impressions I've gotten is that everything on Disney Plus will be week by week. I don't know if that's the same thing you guys have heard, but I think that's what that streaming service is going for, to kind of differentiate themselves from Netflix. Because I think Netflix's downfall is everything happens all at once, and then there's no conversation. I mean, people weren't talking about Stranger Things past the first week almost. I feel like
I remember the Stranger Things dropped, and Jerry can vouch for it. I still haven't watched it, unfortunately, but no one's talking about it now. Just like when they drop new seasons of Riverdale, no one talks about it after it gets all this extreme, and like everyone talks about it all at once, and then it's gone. Game of Thrones. We'd
still be on the 5th episode of Stranger Things right now.
Exactly.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Exactly. And
that would be crazy.
And think about how Game of Thrones does it is genius, and Walking Dead does it genius, because people are talking about it for a week, then they get the next one. It keeps the conversation going. So I like that format way more, and I will say it, Jerry. What's up?
No, I was just saying, you guys think they're going to do that with the Clone Wars as well?
I would love that.
Okay. You see, because I guess I thought they would, with the Clone Wars they would, but that I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking the Mandalorian was going to kind of drop like that. But that, oh my gosh, we're going to have like our podcasts like cut out for us, whole time, guys.
We'll be fried. My God.
Yeah.
My other question too is, how long are the episodes going to be? Because we're used to 20, 25-minute Clone Wars episode.
Right.
What if they pull a big one on us and are 40 minutes long?
Wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if the final episode for sure is something like that,
Yeah, like an hour.
Yeah.
Whatever the final episode, if it's the big duel between Ahsoka and Maul or whatever, I don't know. Like, that would be crazy, and I wouldn't put it back.
It would be nuts. But yeah, that's one of the first news we got out of D23, and if you haven't yet, I'm not mistaken, Variety just put out the whole panel, not the whole panel, chopped up parts of the panel but it's from an HD point of view. It's not, filmed from a plastic bag. It's not, it's not like on the chest of someone, sitting like this. It's actual footage. And I had the opportunity this morning to watch through a good bit of it, and they did that, and then they got into the amazing Mandalorian trailer, which if you haven't yet, Jerry and I put a reaction video up on the Bombadcast's YouTube page, so check that out if you can. But guys, I mean, I was lucky enough to be at the panel at Celebration. I saw some of the footage they shown, but they really did polish it up, and they really did bring all this new kind of footage that I did not expect. What did you think of that, Brad, of the whole thing?
So I showed this trailer to my mom, and her first reaction was, "This is a TV show?" Oh. I mean, that right there, if you're not in the Star Wars bubble like we are, this is going to appeal to the mass audience. Yes. Just like my mom, just like my dad, who don't normally geek out about Star Wars, they're going to buy Disney Plus and they're going to start watching it. Awesome? So this show, I mean, it looks quality. That first shot we get, I mean, right away they're telling you this is a large-scale television show. We are not keeping our minds narrow to the creative ideas. Yes. Like, we are going as large as possible. Like that huge landscape as the Razor Crest is flying over and you see that giant forestry. Like they mean business. And I think just the imagination of the show itself is going to really show, and I think it's going to be wildly successful. I'm so excited. Also, Giancarlo Stanton, give me some Los Pollos Hermanos in the show. Come on, for those Breaking Bad fans out there. If Moff, I think his name is Moff Gideon, if he don't come out cooking chicken and Walter White's not involved, I'm going to be disappointed. Just saying. Just saying.
That's awesome.
That's just me, though.
He's got, watch him be like, I know a spice dealer and stuff who cooks out of a space, RV or whatever.
That would be the greatest Easter egg ever. They should be
awesome. Like, he's a spice dealer. He makes really good stuff. Yeah, no, gosh, one thing I noticed about this trailer is, and I know there was an interview with Filoni and Favreau afterwards, and and Kathleen Kennedy. But one thing I noticed that they're kind of emphasizing right off the bat is the brutality almost.
That's awesome.
That this takes place in. I mean, look, I'm an Ewok, but my goodness, the way the stormtroopers' heads were up on the pikes, helmets. We're not confirming that there are heads.
They're heads. But it could be.
But you saw all those buckets on the pikes and stuff, and the way the end of the trailer where he's like kind of in that barroom brawl, and like that guy like is out of the door, and he like grabs him with his tow cable, pulls him in, and shuts the door, and you can pretty much guess what happens to that guy. He's gonna need a little bit of some Darth Maul act, a little bit of legs there. So
he just needs to have anger fuel his return.
Well, and what's so cool about these live action shows, though, I think you guys might feel the same, is just look at the trailer in and of itself. For a canon junkie, if I call myself canon junkie because I'm so into all the like little nitpicky stuff.
Yeah, of course.
We talked about we've talked about before, Scotty. Like having more original trilogy aliens and things like that. You have a Twi'lek,
a Quarren,
right in there. You have a Quarren. You have. I believe Nick Nolte's character riding, which is an Ugnaught, riding a blur. How insane was that? I didn't know they were actually going to show that in the trailer. That was so cool. Plus the opportunity to go to planets that we are always wanting them to revisit in the films, but they want to visit new stuff. And that I think in the TV show we're going to get our nerd chills tickled and stuff. They're going to take us to places we've been to kind of let us nerd out.
Exactly. There's one thing I want to get into that I thought was interesting, but when it was first marketed, it was Jon Favreau's baby. It was. That was the thing. Okay. Then at Celebration, they had Filoni up there too, and it was Jon, and it was more Jon, less Favreau. And then now, though, it is Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. It is inseparable. It is their series. So I wanted to focus on that too, because you got Filoni, who is a canon junkie like you, Jerry, and we'll throw in the most obscure, the smallest little details, like in his episodes of Rebels and Clone Wars, much less. Could you imagine what we're going to get live action? It's just going to be insane. So, Yeah, that trailer though. I mean, that was unbelievable. It was just the music felt different. The fact that it's a show. I mean, I sent it to all my family members. Like, look, you're gonna have to get this when it comes out, and people are gonna get it. And I think I talked about it last week, but you're gonna have to start selling Disney Plus. Well, I think they just sold several subscriptions with this past week, and in the weeks to come. I mean, we're not even into September yet. This is August 25th. We've still got 80 days, I think, or whatever it is, till it actually drops. So you know that train's going to start rolling come October, middle of October. We're going to get destroyed with trailers and content. So I'm excited.
Oh, dude, it's the end of the year is going to be insane.
Oh,
but,
wow.
I mean, just from here on out, guys, it's not stopping. But let me say here, what do you guys? Let's do a little bit of speculation on there. I got some by you guys. That planet that you were talking about, Brad, where they're flying over the trees and the lakes and stuff. What is your what percentage are you guys? What do you? How do you? Let's see. How do I word this with actual English? I feel like that's Takodana. No, what do you guys think about that?
Good point.
Well, it just really there's that whole feel of like, it honestly feels like, Brad, I know you're originally from Michigan, I believe, and so I always feel like Takodana is like the Michigan of the Star Wars universe, all kinds of lakes and stuff. But I don't know, like, what do you guys think? What percentage are you that you think that might actually be Dana?
I actually talked about this. I had a live stream on Friday night during the panel, and one of my listeners, Shannon Smith, she had asked, will Maz be in The Mandalorian? I think there's a very good chance, because when you think about it, I mean, we know from Han Solo, she's been in that watering hole for 1,000 years, and she's running that place like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised if Pedro Pascal has got to go there to get some information, and she's the one that's got it. I mean, she's even involved in Last Jedi. She knows the Master Codebreaker. She knows everybody.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to find somebody in the galaxy that has a network, that's where you want to go.
True.
So I would say, that's a very good possibility.
I'm super psyched for that, man.
I believe 100% in that we will get a visitation to some interesting sequel things. I think maybe we'll see Crate or something at some point. I feel like we're going to do some interesting turnarounds, being as they have announced there's going to be a second season. I think they're going to take risk, but I think they're going to stick to some familiar tones and familiar feels, like you said, in the realm of speculation, for planets and stuff. I myself believe, of course, I think it's been confirmed, we're definitely going back to Tatooine, guaranteed. They showed what appears to be maybe 3 different planets. And, I don't know where it's going to take us, but I know this much. I know at some point in my gut we're going to get some crazy weird cameo. I mean, it's going to be like they confirmed no Boba Fett, but I think we might get a Dengar. I think we might get, like stuff
Boss.
like that. And apparently, I don't know if y'all read this, but Alex Stars Explained posted interview on EW that IG-11 is commonly confused in show as IG-88. So
I saw that today.
Imagine Taika being sassy as IG, like, no, you're thinking of IG-80. I just know it's going to be so freaking funny. So that's some things that you can think about. We might end up seeing some familiar ships or things. We might even get a bearded Han. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny anything. But
Scotty.
I mean,
oh man, cue the heart attack gif. Oh.
But one thing I want to say too is I don't think anyone else has really thought about this, but I'm sure those clips we saw are from the first 2 or 3 episodes, and this is an 8-episode series. Yeah. So we're going to end up getting some heavy stuff by the end of this, especially if they're alluding to a second season. So
absolutely.
And most people have pointed out most of these direct-to-consumer shows do get 2 seasons because they're written that way. But I think this is going to be very different. I think we're getting 2 seasons because of the trust that Kathleen has put on the line for this. And this is the first live-action Star Wars. They're not going to disappoint with this. Like, I guarantee it. I
gotta say, if IG-11's being confused for IG-88, there's got to be some backstory to him where it's just like a really quick office-like cut to IG-11 shooting IG-88, going, there can only be one, and then just going back to him, and then IG-11's like, I don't know that guy. I don't know what you're talking about.
What are you talking about? Oh, if he has that Taika Waititi accent and stuff, the
Oh my
accent,
god.
I'm gonna lose
That
it.
New Zealand voice.
Oh
I would
man,
love it.
Right,
Love it.
I'm gonna go right back to Flight of the Conchords and all of that. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Will IG-11 be as sassy as K2SO?
I don't think it'd be sassy. He might be Korg-like, kind of like.
He's
just
got to
goofy.
be like some quirky personality or something.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
I'm so psyched for that.
It's just the implications of this show is what gets me the most excited. Like, no disrespect to the Rise of Skywalker, but we know where it's going to a certain extent. We know the characters we're going to get. I'm just excited to fall in love with these new people. It's the first time in a very long. It's actually since Rebels and Resistance the first time you actually get to meet. No, not even Resistance. Rebels might be the only one. Because we have Poe. Like, this is going to be a whole new set of characters. So I'm looking forward to just that alone. Just nothing but new people that we get to know and love,
Right.
I want to ask you guys one question. They did just cast somebody she was the original voice of Mulan.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I've been hearing a lot of talk of, is House Wren going to be involved in The Mandalorian? Is she going to be playing Sabine's mother?
Ooh.
Oh, my
That could be kind of interesting, but I
gosh.
would like to see maybe the Wren family and even a Bo-Katan played by Katie Sackhoff, who has been in some stuff recently. That would be really cool.
Wow.
That would. Did you guys see the interview with Filoni where like the person asked him if any of the animated characters?
Yes.
And she mentioned Ahsoka, but when she mentioned, people are like, "Oh, he's smiling. He's doing the Filoni tell. You can tell someone's going to come." But he starts to do that when she mentions Bo-Katan.
Oh.
I feel like Bo-Katan is.
Yeah.
That would be
And
incredible.
Collider Live had Katie Sackhoff on a couple weeks ago, and Christian Harloff asked her about it, and she said she just kind of sat there and was like, they make you sign these giant NDAs or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's probably mentioning that because of the Clone War NDAs, but also,
Could you imagine?
I bet she signed some NDAs for The Mandalorian. I get you.
It's a show about a Mandalorian, and we've got Bo-Katan, one of the most famous Mandalorians.
Yes.
Created by Dave Filoni himself.
Well,
Why not?
exactly. And playing into that, you got to think about this too. We're starting off about a bounty hunter, the Mandalorian being a bounty hunter, and I think that's where the ending's going to get us. It's going to go from bounty hunter culture and the bounty hunter guild to slowly turn into Mandalore and the implications of Mandalore. And I think what Disney does best is they're going to end up tying in these things that are going to make you want to watch Rebels. They're going to make you want to watch Clone Wars. There's going to be articles put out like, "Oh, you might not have understood this part of The Mandalorian because you didn't see this episode of Rebels," or how Disney can do it. So I'm looking forward to being knee deep in this show and seeing where it'll take us, because I think musically it'll be one of the most different things, totally different things, and thematically speaking, in regards to overall story tones and feels, I really think it's going to be extremely different, and I'm so excited for it.
I think we could get that big cameo you're waiting for as a season 1 cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like, my name is Bo-Katan and you're no Mandalorian or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
That'd be so
Yeah.
cool.
That would be pretty
I would
awesome.
just jaw drop to the floor.
There's just so much fun at this moment of being a Star Wars fan with all this being dropped, that we everything's so up in the air. And I think hopefully people listening right now can really think about this part is the best part, before we get into everything. And with that being said, this part is the best part. I want to give a big shout out to John Hoey for being the OG at reporting this next thing back in February. And I had dinner
Love
with him.
you, John.
I
Good
had
job,
dinner,
buddy.
Whenever we ate together at Celebration, I remember talking to him like, do you think on Sunday or whatever, Monday, whenever it was, when the Phantom Menace panel, do you think we're going to hear it? And he's like, I really do think. I don't know if it'll be then, but it'll be sometime after, when they can confirm it. And of course, we waited. We got all the way till here. And this past week, with everything being, announced about he's going to come back, and then for him to go out on that stage, and he asked Kathleen, he says, now, Kathleen, do me a favor, ask me if I'm going to play Obi-Wan Kenobi again. And then she does it. He says, yes. and the crowd went wild. I mean, what do y'all
Like
think?
even
of
when
it?
they put his pictures before
Yes.
out, everyone
Yes.
we all knew what was coming. And
Oh
talk about like how cool would it have been, if we had waited, but still like
no.
still one of the coolest moments ever to have it confirmed.
It was
there.
amazing.
Gosh, and I didn't get to see that until after I was getting the tweets. We had just gotten I was getting back from a lovely date with my wonderful wife, and the tweets were starting to hit like Obi-Wan confirmed, Ewan is coming back, and like oh my gosh, I was losing it, man. Like I was just excited. I was excited for John and his scoop and all that kind of stuff. And just can you believe this is the thing that pretty much every single person has wanted, even the people who haven't liked the Disney era stuff so far. Everyone wants an Obi-Wan Kenobi series with Ewan McGregor.
Exactly. And it's kind of sad because it completely overshadowed The Mandalorian in regards to like news of like articles that were posted. Like I remember looking at Facebook after The Mandalorian thing had dropped. I'm like, yeah, people are talking about Mandalorian. Oh, the trailer's been cool. And the second Kenobi posted, it was like Screen Rant, Variety, Vanity Fair, Deadline, even the crappy ones, Comic Book News. All these people are like, they're all just flooded with Kenobi, and like people that I haven't spoke to in years on Facebook were talking about Kenobi. But yeah, no, Brad, what did you think of it, man? And what was your first impression whenever they finally confirmed this long-awaited rumor?
Yeah, I gotta say, part of me like wishes there weren't scoops out there, but at
Me
the same
too.
time, I was like, we should see this coming. I think of a world in which we were totally blindsided by this announcement, and it's a lot of fun to think about.
Right.
But
Like
yeah,
the Lizzie
just
McGuire
just to
announcement.
have it,
that was
yeah, exactly, complete blindside. Which okay, don't get me wrong, I'm very excited. That's a whole nother podcast episode, but. I think the only way it could have been better is if he had walked out in his Jedi robes. That would have been
Yes.
pretty epic, gotta
my
say.
God.
It's very nice to have this finally confirmed. It feels like a huge weight off of our shoulders because you get that you get that awful pit in your stomach when you think of an idea that could be really awesome and that doesn't come to fruition. And you just sit there wondering, like, what could be,
Yeah.
like, what would that look like? And now just to know it's happening, I trust the creative process to just take it from here, let it happen, and I'm ready to binge the hell out of that show.
Oh, yeah, man.
When it comes out.
Well, and then they confirmed it's going to be 8 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're starting filming next year, 2020. My gosh, this is it's just so crazy how real it is that now we have. I don't know if they have an official date, but just to know that next year we are getting a Cassian Andor film,
Yep.
and that was kind of like the under the radar.
It was.
They about Cassian, poor Cassian Andor television show. I'm still excited for that, but just to know that we're getting that and Mandalorian season 2 and Obi-Wan Kenobi, pretty much all starting filming next year. Gosh, what a time to be alive, man! What a time to be a Star Wars fan. That's about all I could think Friday night.
It's true.
Thought that we would be at this point.
Star
Wars.
Funny enough,
Are you going to Celebration next year, you two?
well, I know I am, and
Scotty is, and I'm probably gonna have to try to bamboozle a ticket off of one of my friends here. But anyway, I'm gonna have to go towards the Ewok scalpers.
yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to get that Kenobi trailer and panel next year.
Oh, shut the
gonna
front
be
door! You're
nuts.
right.
Now I'm gonna
It's going to
have
be one
to.
of the big ones.
And we were like sitting here thinking like, oh, that's after like everything's come out. Like, what's gonna happen? Next year is gonna be like the Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary, which is gonna be huge too.
Yeah.
But, gosh, you're absolutely right.
Whoa,
Now-
that's a great point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get. Damn, I just don't. Well, I want to bring up one thing. I was talking to Eric, my buddy Eric Cotterman, whom Brad, I'm sure you'll meet at next celebration. But Jerry and I got the pleasure of hanging out with. We made a film recently, and we got the trailer coming. We had the trailer come out recently. So Owl's Nest, give it a watch. Anyway, enough of my plugs. I was on the phone with him, and people forget how quick the turnaround for television is. It's a lot more different than a movie, because a movie you're working with several hours of the footage, at once. Now for this, it's like you film an episode, boom, get it edited, made, boom, put out. Not to say that's how they're going to do it with Disney, but the turnaround for these shows are going to be probably a lot faster than anything else that we expect or see from Star Wars, because we're used to Star Wars taking 2 years to develop, written, story, pre-production. And apparently the best part we heard about the Kenobi series was all the scripts are done, all the directors have been cast, and all the things have been already planned for it. So, the next thing to come is filming, and filming could literally be as early as January 5th of 2020. Really.
Well,
and he's already got the beard too.
Yeah, he's ready to go, man. Hey, and they're
put a little bit of gray in there.
Yeah. That's what I was talking to Jeff on the Blue Milk Cafe. You were saying that too. You're actually gonna have to. He looks so good. You're gonna have to age him up.
Yeah,
he hasn't aged a day. But no, and what's so cool is the technology they're pioneering with these shows too. Favreau is always. He's kind of one of the. He's almost the new George Lucas when it comes to filmmaking technology. Between that, Jungle Book and all that kind of stuff, but with Mandalorian, they were doing they have the in-camera effects, kind of a little like what they were doing for Solo. But gosh, they're already working on that stuff for
insane.
Can you think about that? They're already getting all of these special effects shots up and going, and it's just it is insane how fast their process is these days.
Yep. Yeah. It's so cool. And for Kenobi to be announced, a lot of people of course are focusing on, he's going to be on Tatooine, what are they going to do with it? But most people don't realize that this to me, I was talking on the phone with Eric about it, and he kind of triggered. I was like, whoa, I didn't even think about this. But there really could be some sort of force bond between him and Anakin. And we could totally see Hayden again in some weird capacity. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there could be some sort of force vision where they meet again or something. I don't know. I really think they could go all out, being as it takes place kind of as a prequel. They really could have battle droids show up. They could have very interesting sequence. We could see Jabba again. We could see a crate dragon.
Yeah.
These things that we think are kind of gone in our hearts because we're so used to the sequel trilogy, they could. Boba Fett can show up. All kinds of crazy things can happen. So, it's just a matter of time, and of course some stuff will probably leak out, and we'll end up finding more things. But for them to just announce it and get it over with is just, that was nice. That was a good way to end that panel, and it's Disney Plus. It's awesome.
Yeah. My dream is for Chewbacca to be involved, and the only reason I say that is because when he walks into the cantina in A New Hope, who's the first person he's talking to? Chewbacca.
Chewie,
so I'm like, those guys have got a history. He's probably walking in there saying, "Oh, you're back, man. Let's talk Shriwook for a little bit."
Yeah.
So if you can maybe involve Chewbacca just to help him a little bit on some mission, and then he maybe drops Chewbacca off back at the cantina, and you see Alden Ehrenreich come out, and he just goes, "Who's that guy?" or something like that. I don't know.
Would be
just a little small Easter egg. That would be cool.
I thought about that too. Yeah.
It's a great point. And one thing that I failed to mention earlier that Eric and I also discussed was Liam frickin' Neeson could come back. Think about that. We could get the return.
That's almost a given.
That's one of my favorite
back.
Star Wars characters has
Absolutely.
always been Qui-Gon. Imagine getting Qui-Gon coming back and having a forced training session. It's just it's just so nice. We're so thankful.
The excerpt from a certain point of view, if you guys have both read,
yes.
Luke goes to the homestead to find Owen and Beru, and Obi-Wan he talks with Qui-Gon is able. Spoilers for this book that's been out for a couple of years, but Qui-Gon is able to manifest as a Force ghost.
Oh my God.
That's insane. I think it's almost a given. If it don't do it, it's a missed opportunity. Hashtag missed opportunity.
And we just got Master and Apprentice.
Yeah.
Come on. They're literally telling us right to our face that it's going to happen.
Yeah, and
this is the most perfect time for all of it to happen.
Yeah.
So it really is.
So I'm glad we can discuss that, but there's one thing we got to get into, and unfortunately we haven't seen the footage for it yet. But apparently we are getting some new fantastic footage, and if you're listening to us on Tuesday, we already got it. We're already tripping about it, but we've got...
how was that footage, guys? Wasn't it great?
Wasn't
Awesome.
it? It was fantastic. Brad, what'd you think of that footage?
Yeah, none of you remember the dark times.
Dark Ray.
We're stuck in it right now.
Yeah. You guys in the world between worlds here.
Well, hopefully we'll have a little, maybe our own thoughts and opinions on it come next Monday. But look, here's the deal. So we haven't seen it yet. Apparently there was some incredible footage released that involved Rey throwing a lightsaber. It involved, I think that's the only thing I can really remember besides the Sith Rey or whatever you would call it, a dark Rey. But yeah, they got some incredible footage that was shown that was apparently a little bit of a compilation, but also some fairly new stuff as well. Anyone care to elaborate on it? Because I'm kind of, I don't remember exactly what it was.
Well, we got Dark Ray, but we also, I think what is the most interesting to me is apparently we got new dialogue from Palpatine.
That's it. Oh my God.
Holy crap. I mean, can you guys imagine new lines from Ian McDiarmid? I mean, and if anyone, sorry to anyone who was kind of thinking, it's going to be like I don't know what your theories are. A lot of people were thinking that the Emperor was just kind of just like a mention in the trailer and everything when it happened. They are doubling down here.
Yeah.
In this, and we can talk about the teaser poster a little bit if you guys want to as well, because that was the thing that when it was released to the public, my gosh, Palpatine is seeming to be the big threat
present.
Film, and I think we're going to get some revelations in this that tie the entire sequel trilogy together and will make people kind of go, you're moments in this.
Yes, I can't wait.
And we'll get into a little bit of that, our theories about Palpatine and such later on, Scotty, in another episode. But yes, I don't know, Brad, what do you think about this kind of description of the footage that we got?
Well, just to say about Palpatine, all the cast members are, like you said, doubling down as well. And I think it was Kelly Marie Tran that said he is in this movie featured prominently. It's not just a cameo; he is the baddie at large. So they're not going to pull a Rogue One on us. As much as I loved Vader in that movie, but he was very much marketed to be a much larger presence.
Yes,
I don't think they're doing that with this movie.
Yeah.
You don't bring back somebody like Ian McDiarmid to have him in a couple scenes. He is going to be the big bad. So. This footage is incredible, and just speaking on one other piece of footage that was mentioned was the hundreds of Star Destroyers in the sky.
Yes,
and to me, that screams contingency plan for Palpatine.
Yes.
This is what has been in the making. This is where the First Order has been hiding. This is where General Pride's been hiding, and they are coming full force because they were defeated at Crate. They didn't want to come out right then after that defeat. They wanted to really fine-tune a couple things, get their Sith troopers in order. Prepare their clone army if they are clones. And now we are making you guys feel safe this last year in the galaxy, and we are coming at you. You're going to be unprepared.
Something just dawned
but little
on
did the
me.
First Order know, Resistance is building up on Batuu.
Yes.
So.
That's right.
Something just dawned on me, and I had not thought about this, but you got to think when Colin Trevorrow was, I guess, axed from this project. He had apparently his script was not very good. Apparently, from what we've heard, it was not very good. And JJ had to come.
Just went in a different direction.
Yeah, it didn't go
before Carrie passed away.
Yes. So to have JJ come back in, very short-handed, maybe with only 6 months to write a script, it just dawned on me he might have walked in to a meeting with Pablo and Lawrence and all of them or whoever and was like, what threads do we need to tie up? He might have really been like, what can I write in here? And they might have mentioned the importance of the contingency plan, I don't know how much of this was planned before, and hopefully when Episode 9s are released and there's a documentary that comes out about the sequel trilogy, that this has all been planned from the very beginning. I have a gut feeling that that'll be the case, but if I'm playing off how the media has portrayed it, it might as well be like JJ, all right, what do I need to finish? And they bring in the contingency plan. They bring in, the fact World Between Worlds with Palpatine, whatever. They might really do some crazy shit with this movie. Oh, pardon my French. Never curse on this show. They might really do some crazy stuff with this, like really, really crazy stuff. And I saw a point that was made, and I think you'll both agree with this. If they're showing us this, what the hell are they hiding? Like, what is going to be reveals in this? Think about that. It just it's unbelievable.
I didn't even think it was like people were bringing up the world between worlds whenever we had Palpatine's laugh in the first trailer.
Yes.
There was, before all of this weekend, I was like, there's no way they bring it up. And I'm still not 100% sold, but now I'm kind of like, man, I mean, like,
If they did it.
the gloves are off. I mean, like, anything is possible now. This is sounding, especially with, I don't know if we've mentioned Dark Ray enough and stuff, but
Yeah.
a vision of Dark Ray, or if it's actually her turning to the dark side, if it's whatever happens, I kind of lean more towards Vision, but still, the gloves, to me, it seems like the gloves are off. This is the end to the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
And we are out with a bang. We are going out swinging. And I think JJ's words are going to come true, guys. It's going to be satisfying.
I just...
Yeah.
With everything that was stated, like, one thing that I guess I haven't really heard anyone cover that much, that it was brought up that Zori, what's her face's character? Why can't I remember her name?
Carrie
Carrie
Russell.
Russell's character is an old friend of Poe. That was the first one that was brought up. So a lot of people were like, "Oh no, that's gonna be Rey's aunt and blah blah blah." No. It is a friend of Poe's. They might have a similar ship, that was shown, but think about that for a second. What these things that we're hearing about and what's going to happen is just, I have no idea what they're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I do gotta say, I think I was initially in the camp of like maybe this wasn't as planned from the beginning as it could have been, but I do think now looking back on it, it was, and even a lot of what JJ you can already see is bringing back into this film from The Force Awakens. Like I do think it is all fitting together, because you can't take the largest movie franchise of all time and not have any sort of plan.
Right.
And I know Rian Johnson, I think, was writing The Last Jedi during when JJ was doing The Force Awakens. So I think it is all a larger plan that has been at work for quite a while. Maybe the specifics aren't as maybe the specifics have been fine-tuned over time, with Trevorrow leaving, but yeah, this movie is going to throw so many punches at us, and I do think I keep getting sold on The World Between Worlds. I'm kind of the same with you, Jerry. It's like slowly continuing to creep into my headcanon for this movie. And even, let's talk about the poster for a quick second here.
Absolutely.
The blue flames on it that are kind of emitting in the background. I mean, if your mind doesn't immediately jump to Palpatine in The World Between Worlds with those blue flames chasing after Ahsoka and Ezra, I mean, that is like
Have y'all seen this one? I know I'm showing it to y'all, but it's like...
I have.
It's like Vader looking up from where he threw him, and then Palpatine falling into the World Between Worlds.
I didn't see that.
That would be a really interesting theory.
Well, and
I saw another one too that somebody thought maybe the Palpatine in the Rebels is the actual Palpatine from the Rise of Skywalker in The World Between Worlds. He's trying to go back to course correct. Clearly, it didn't work with Ezra and Ahsoka.
Wow.
So maybe he's going to try with Rey and Kylo now.
Oh my goodness.
So.
Gosh, we are not going to be. They're going to have to carry me out of the theater. These guys, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to. I don't know. It might be the last movie I ever see. I don't get dark or anything. Who knows? There's gonna be like, what is it? It's like that. I don't know if you guys ever watch any Dave Chappelle skits and stuff. There's
Which
one
one?
where, like, the guys, the people's heads explode. And
Oh,
stuff.
whenever he's...
The black white supremacists and stuff.
the greatest.
Not to bring up any of those skits are so funny, but like it's gonna be me like in the theater, like my head's just gonna explode and stuff. But no, and those blue flames, like what was that stuff whenever Palpatine like fell into the pit that Vader threw him into? Like we had blue then, and gosh, I don't know. Like I'm
They're gonna
more
retcon
sold
that.
on it, but that poster, like you were saying. That was
Looking at my background, too.
Looming in the background of that is just...
They really doing it.
It is, like, and I've thought that I've been in the camp, Brad, that I've thought that they have had more of a plan than we haven't really seen. And it was just confirmed. Well, like, Kathy at Celebration said that this is Palpatine has been part of the plan since the beginning. Like, Palpatine has always been it, because you think about who is the ultimate bad guy in Star Wars. It is Palpatine. It is Darth Sidious. And I think we're gonna just see like things. You said they're bringing back those themes of Vader's helmet with Kylo and stuff with Ben. I don't know. There's so many connections that I feel like, I don't know. I'm just excited for it to happen. Not saying some of the same things that you guys are happening. Yeah, I agree, Obi. I agree.
I'm sorry, my dog.
Yeah, there's
one.
That was Obi-Wan in the background. Funny enough.
Yeah, there has been a plan, though, for sure. I mean, I think Palpatine wasn't brought in the first two movies because they wanted to purposely do the misdirect with Snoke.
Yes.
To let our guard down, sort of, to think like, oh, okay, this isn't going to be about Palpatine anymore. And then it is. And then we freak out in the Rise of Skywalker trailer. So, I mean, that's what they're doing. They're trying to really throw us for a loop with this, and it's worked. I mean, how many people were complaining about Snoke, and now we're getting Palpatine back? It's like, everything's happening for a reason. And yeah, I have now fallen in the camp that there has been a plan this entire time,
Yes.
and I don't think Kathleen Kennedy's saying they've thought about Palpatine this whole time. I don't think she's saving face. That she truly means that. It's been in the forefront of their minds.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They Palpatined us.
Yeah.
They made us spend this whole time thinking, we know what we're doing and stuff, and or we don't know what we're doing. And all of a sudden, boom, here he is. So
Yeah. Great point.
Good job, guys. Good job for
one thing
Palpatining the fans.
that we haven't brought up yet, but they showed very subtle footage at the very beginning of the actual D23, and they had Kylo looking down at what appears to be Darth Vader's mask, and hopefully that's Palpatine possessing it and maybe guiding him to where he needs to go to resurrect him, or however they do it. I mean, just think about how impressive that would be, just to have him have been there the whole time. Show me again, grandfather. The power of the dark side, or whatever he says.
It could make sense too for Kylo's character development, because if he's been trusting this helmet this whole time, and he's like, I will do anything for you, grandfather. You're telling me to finish this as whatever you started. We don't know what the helmet's telling him that he started. We don't know. So he could be totally misdirecting him, making him do his deeds. And as soon as Kylo fulfills those and he sees Palpatine somehow reformed out of that helmet, Kylo's going to have a lot of trust issues.
Yeah, man.
And his whole world is going to crumble, because he's going to realize everything I have believed this entire time is a lie. My whole life pretty much turned to the dark side is based upon a lie.
Yeah.
We were deceived by a lie. We all were. That's what Obi-Wan says in Revenge of the Sith. And it could very well be Kylo's reality, and that's what is the catalyst for him to turn back, because he just realizes this was never the truth. Anakin got redeemed, and he will too.
Redemption, baby.
When you say that, there's those lines, that you think about, and someone on Twitter, Lindsay Romaine. I don't know if she's a part of any affiliate of a podcast. I don't know what she's in.
Yeah,
but
Nerdist.
Okay. Well, she posted on here.
Yep.
I have it pivoted from "It's a Vision" to "Oh damn, Ray going bad," back and forth. From this line from The Last Jedi, and I never thought about this, is whenever Luke is talking to her after she meditates on the Force for the first time, he says, "You went straight to the dark. It offered you something you needed, and you didn't even try to stop yourself." Like, that really could have not have just been like a hint throughout the plot of this movie, of that movie, but now a plot into the rest of the overarching story. So,
yeah,
I don't know what they're going to end up doing with it, but I think it's time we move on to one other thing real quick, fellas. More to be discussed probably next week. Let's be real. Whenever your next episode of Brad drops, there's probably going to be a little bit more to be discussed. But one thing, I don't know if you had the opportunity to see it. It dropped a little bit early before we started recording, but they had a trailer for the new ride of the Resistance ride that's coming. I think it's called Rise of the Resistance, maybe, whatever the ride is at Disney World.
Rise of the Resistance. Yeah, it was kind of like I know what you're talking about. It's like the footage was of like a Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
That featured more of that ride.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I wonder how they're going to bring it to life, because they had some shots of literal stormtroopers shooting lasers. Like they had patented this technology. Remember, must have been about 3 years ago, they had like these patents released of like hologram technologies and technologies of lasers that would actually move, in that way. I just don't know how they're going to do it. Like, I think we're going to see.
It was crazy. It was like Disney is actually building stormtrooper armies.
Yes.
Like what it seemed like whenever they like started making those patents. It's like, I don't know, the government should start watching Disney because I think no. Hey, man, it was so crazy.
I think we're going to see
So
some state-of-the-art stuff with this ride. I mean, the Falcon one's really good
Right.
too, but I think we're going to see some incredible next-level 4D entertainment from this. I really do think so. But
Brad, did you get to?
Yeah, I
did you
think
get to
they're
see
gonna-
that?
Yeah, I did, and I think they're going to use a lot of kind of I think of magician-like
Yes.
effects with lighting to have the blaster effect. And when I saw Kylo Ren's lightsaber come
Yes.
through that ceiling, and everybody screamed, I went, "Holy shit!" Holy crap! If I see
it's
that, I'm going to lose my
you
mind,
imagine?
and I better not bring my kid with me if I have a kid by that point. Because at this point, I'm going to have to save up. It's going to take me 15
Yeah.
years.
Right,
But,
right.
Watching that droid scream in the cart with them, I was like, that's so fun. That's like such a classic Star
is.
Wars adventure, just to hear a droid screaming for its life as you're flying away. And even if they're if they have Kylo Ren involved, maybe he pushes your cart with the Force,
Yeah.
and it's all of a sudden a very extreme like pushback. And that part where they go into the room with the AT-ATs.
What?
I'm like, are we gonna see like live huge AT-ATs?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to Disney World when they had like the original AT-AT?
Yeah.
Like the life-size one
Yes.
outside in that like kind of Endor area.
humongous.
That's what I imagine it's gonna look like. It's gonna be huge.
I just can't believe it.
They,
gonna be
they have
giant.
that is like people like if you read some of the reports that came out in February before they opened up the park, they got to kind of tour through the unfinished ride, and they do have full sized Brad
insane.
those walkers.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that. Like my brain is going to be broken. You are going to be in Star Wars, but that lightsaber part is what really stuck out to me too, because just the way it came down, gosh, can you imagine seeing like a lightsaber and it not just looking like one of those
Force effects.
effects, which look
Yeah.
pretty great, but like, can you imagine seeing Kylo Ren's crackling blade coming through the and starting to circle? My goodness.
Oh.
Yeah, and the soundtrack during the ride too. If that happens and they play the big French horn major or minor key of Kylo Ren's theme, and it's loud and in your face, and oh god, it's gonna be awesome.
It could be
I'm
so
ready.
great.
Star Wars Tower of Terror is what I can describe it as.
They're gonna have to like hit you with a bucket of water every 2 feet, and that to wake you back up from like the shock you're going into. Oh man.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be awesome, and I myself, and if you're going to Celebration, I mean, not to hype anyone up, but more than likely, there's gonna be a Star Wars Celebration like exclusive event at the park. So, and it's right across from very close to the convention center. So, think.
Give us discounted tickets, please.
I, honest to God, if it's
If we
just,
get media passes, yeah.
if it's just an 8-hour event that's after Celebration, I don't care. If it could be $400, I would pay for it in a heartbeat. Because then we get to, it wouldn't be the awkward man with his child that never saw Star Wars and the clumsy morons that are walking around Disney. It'll be I was telling this to my girlfriend literally the other night. I was like, could you imagine how cool this is going to be? It's not going to be just the everyday people. It's going to be the sweaties that are walking around Batu and like freaking out over what's our best script on the wall. Like, it's going to be incredible.
Dude, we
night.
should have the podcast. They should have the podcast meetup in the cantina that year.
Oh my god, I can't trust all of us podcasters with that much blue milk. I just can't.
No.
And we can go to the
Give me
Scum and
another
Villainy one too.
jet juice.
There's just so much that's going to be done.
I laughed so hard in that trailer when the little kid was like, "I've been waiting my whole life for this," and I'm like, "No, you haven't."
What, like 10 years? Yeah.
I was like, if that kid tells me that, I'm gonna push him off the ride. I'm like, get out of here.
I get to pilot now.
I'm
it's
just kidding.
just going to be
Yeah.
awesome.
But I just thought that was a funny line.
Real quick, we got some responses. We got some responses from our Twitter friends from the Twitterverse. We got about 4 things I want to get through. We got one from our friends at the Scared of Scuttlebutt podcast. And
What's up, guys?
my answer is yes. But let's see what y'all have to say. Is Disney ready to take over the streaming landscape?
Hold on. Do you hear that? That's the sound of Netflix dying. Like, No, and I know I saw people kind of like making fun, like, what's up with people like wishing for the death of corporations? And we're not doing that here and
No,
stuff.
not at all.
Netflix is going to be just fine, but
Think about it.
Disney is definitely going to take over the Disney nerd streaming landscape.
Oh, totally.
I mean, so yeah, I guess it's a yes from me. I think they're absolutely ready. Brad, what do you think, man?
Just give me 1 second. I'm checking my bank account to see if Disney deposited their check. Okay, yeah, we're good. I see. Let's see here, 35 cents. Okay, yeah. So I think Disney is definitely. I mean, if they weren't ready, they wouldn't have done this.
Right.
They've been planning this for years upon years, and they've been taking notes. I think of Disney as the Palpatine of the streaming universe. They've been lingering in the background. They're about to cut Netflix in half like it's Snoke. And I mean, literally, they're cutting him in half because it's half the price of Netflix. I mean, you're paying $7 a month.
That's insane.
It's the price point alone is what's going to win them over. And now we've found out you can do 7 profiles and stream on 4 different devices.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, 4 different devices, 7 profiles for $6.99 a month.
That's crazy. They had said that they were going to start cutting back on sharing profiles and stuff, but I wonder if that's I'm excited to hear that, because that is something that like really helps out with families and things like that. All of us poor Disney shill content producers. Like we try to keep up with everything, and it's we got. Sometimes you don't have enough Disney bucks in the wallet to everything, So I think it's definitely a help to know that for sure.
Now, one thing I want to say is, if you would have asked me in 2017, was Disney ready to like start a streaming service? I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with Disney now. If you tried using it, the app it's like pretty. If I were to put it on a scale, it's like a 5 out of 10. It's just like. It's not very good, as it doesn't.
People have a lot
well.
of problems with that.
Yeah, for some reason my stuff just won't work, and it won't save my login. So I have to log in each time I want to watch Resistance or Rebels. So I have a feeling Disney's going to, and of course they have a great name behind them. So I really do think it's going to be top tier. It's going to be great. I have no feeling, and they did just say that the entire Disney Vault, those things that remember the Disney Vault like DVD and VHS. Like campaign that was like, if you don't get them now, you will never get them again. I remember that vividly.
LOL.
Yeah, until 10 years later.
Exactly.
Right.
But yeah, that whole vault's going to be on there, and that's super exciting stuff. But
they basically said, here's the keys to the vault.
Yeah.
Right. I want to ask you guys a real quick question.
Yeah.
What is the first piece of non-Star Wars related content that you're watching on Disney Plus when it launches?
Oh, when it launches,
It's a real fun
probably
question for you.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
What The World According to Jeff Goldblum, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks great.
I'll probably watch the Aristocats. I don't know why, but there's like a feeling I get once a year where I want to watch a Disney anime movie, and I have to watch the Aristocats, or I want to watch Jungle Book because of Louis Prima, and that's just strictly because I like Louis Prima a lot. Anyway, what about you, Brad?
If it was before Halloween, it'd definitely be Halloween Town.
Good.
But it's either going to be the new Lady and the Tramp movie or the Lizzie McGuire movie in the spirit of the recent announcement. So got to revisit that every once in a while.
Awesome.
Am I the only one who's kind of excited to watch Noelle? Because I love...
Yes.
Oh, who's the guy? It's Bill
So good.
Hader.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of her name.
Anna Kendrick.
Kendrick, but then who else? Billy Eichner.
Yes.
Sleeper hit in that film. I know, crappy Christmas movie, but I'm a sucker for Christmas movies.
Me too.
If they're done well, and Disney these days, under Bob Iger, has been doing way better random family films than they have back when. When I was working at a movie theater and they started doing stuff like I enjoy them a lot more now.
Yes.
But I probably will definitely be watching that as well.
Jerry, if you don't mind, do me a huge favor, because every time I do it, I end up getting very frustrated myself. But we have a message from our friend Rural Farm Boy. It's a written message, and I need you to read it.
All right, Anthony. Man, hey, we've missed you last couple shows, buddy.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're back.
Yeah, Real Farm Boy says, I've had nothing short of a, sorry, I've got to start again. I've had nothing short of a blast this weekend with all we was shown and told. Listening to reaction podcast shows from friends that were there, 3 different live chat shows on YouTube with Twitterverse friends, and of course, all of our Star Wars Twitterverse hashtag Podern family.
My dude.
Real Farm Boy. Amen, Anthony. Thank you so much for chiming in, dude. It was seriously such a fun weekend. Like listening to everyone's takes and just kind of following everyone on Twitter, like freaking out together was so
awesome.
What about you guys?
Yeah.
I feel like I lived in Twitter this weekend.
Yes.
I don't know. The weekend went by so quickly. Like Friday night and Saturday night ended. I did go out of the house at least once both days. But I was like, I got to the end of the day and I was like, I feel like I just looked at my phone all day. But I was like, there's so much happening. Like I got to keep track of all of it. It's crazy.
I agree.
But it was such a blast because there were just so many different funny tweets coming out and interviews and conversations. And that was just so fun. To be a part of, and it doesn't happen every so often. These cons of this magnitude,
right.
So so much fun.
It's the con season too. You know, we had Celebration that kicked it off for us. Then we got Comic-Con that had all the Marvel drops, which Jerry and I went into huge discussions. And then we had this drunk come up, you know, with D23. So you know, there's a lot of cool things about this, but I do, like you said, Brad, I love when the community gets together and you see the collective freakouts from people that are as big as like Christian Harloff and like Star Wars Explained to people that we are personally friends with on over the phone. You're like calling people and talking about how big of a deal this is that this kind of stuff dropped. You know, it's just, it kind of gets me, it makes me nostalgic for Celebration and being there with people. So hopefully the next time we get big news will be when we are all at Celebration pretty much a year from today. Just about. It's going to be a year from the 27th. So, yeah, that's exciting. One thing I want to read from our friend, Darth Hurricane, Carl Steyer, I don't even know how to say it, formerly known as Darth Hurricane.
We apologize. Please send all hate mail to the Bombad. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you can send it to me. I'll just throw it away. So, the big question from him says, is Rey a clone? That's why we have Sith Rey and Good Rey. Maybe that's the vision TLJ of all those Reys meant something bigger. Oh, God, I didn't even think about that. When Rey is in the mirror, and whoa.
Yeah, I've seen that kind of going around. I believe that Star Wars Theory was the one who really kind of pushed that.
Oh.
I've even started on Rule of Two.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't really buy into that.
Neither do I.
But... I find it interesting that the Darkseid Rey could be a clone, but I don't know. I'm kind of leaning. I don't know. I'm leaning towards it being a vision, maybe of Palpatine showing, or maybe I don't know. I even have seen people throwing around Bastilla Shan, Knights of the Old Republic, how she kind of went to the dark side, and Revan had to bring her back. Correct?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Maybe they're kind of pulling from that with a Kylo and Rey kind of thing. I don't know. What do you think about that, guys?
The more I've thought about this weekend, I don't think it makes too much sense for them to pull a quick one on us and have her go full dark side. I don't think.
Right.
I think that would kind of mitigate a lot of her story and her development as a character. However, I am slowly starting to fall into this camp, especially after listening to What the Force, who they just did a great show on shadows in Star Wars.
Oh, nice.
I think this could be Rey's shadow and something that she has to vanquish, kind of like in the Clone Wars when Yoda had to fight his shadow, his dark Yoda side. So in my opinion, I'm thinking,
Yoda.
Well, if Rey is going to fight Palpatine, the one thing she needs to do is embrace the dark side, because she needs to know what it's like so that she knows not to succumb to it and knows when not to give into it.
Right.
Yeah.
So if she's able to go in and literally fight the physical manifestation of her dark side and like literally destroy it, then she'll be, quote unquote, ready to fight a Palpatine. So I think that's what this is. And I think, maybe she'll fight it in the Death Star and Palpatine won't be down there, but it'll actually be her shadow that she fights. I don't know.
That's fantastic.
I don't know.
What I thought of it initially was, you know how when you think about what Luke went through and how Luke had a vision of himself in Vader's helmet. It might be something very similar. It might be a parallel to that kind of theme, where he fights Vader in the forest and then he cuts off the head and then the helmet explodes and it's his face, which shows like if you give in to this could be you. Do not fall for it. But I don't know. It's just I feel like with the footage we're being shown, they're kind of, and this might be the case, I don't know how they're going to weigh out the overall conflict with the inner conflicts of all these characters. Because to me, that's going to be the most challenging part for JJ, but also for us to accept as a fan base. Like, we've got this huge battle going on with all these destroyers. Then we have this other one with just these personal conflicts that we've been seeing for the past 5 years this show's been going on. I don't know. It's going to be quite the wrap up, but
all bets are off after this weekend for me. Like I
agree.
Give me a great movie, JJ. Just give, and I trust them. So
yeah, I think it needs to be like 2.5 hours too, at least. I think just to tell the story correctly. Don't rush it. Give it its breath that it needs. And Avengers Endgame has already shown you can make a really long movie and be massively successful.
Yes.
So I think they got to go that route.
And this is going to be the longest film to date, I believe, as well. Like I too.
On the next episode, more than likely, Jared and I are going to get into Palpatine, the footage, and the marketing behind what this movie will probably end up being. So y'all stay tuned for that, because that's a lot of the things we've touched base on today. We'll definitely come back for our next episode. But we got one last write-in from Chintzy Beatnik at Chintzy Beatnik, and his name is Benjamin. Is it L or I, Jerry? Akers. I don't know.
I believe it's I.
Okay. He wrote, "Do you think Ming-Na joining the Mandalorian will get to see her and Gina Carano fight hand-to-hand, since they are both amazing martial artists? We've only seen hints of Terrace Kasi and Zama Shuo so far in Solo and Rogue One. Hashtag stay Bombad." Well, damn. What do you think of that, Jerry?
More Terrace Kasi.
Yes.
That was I used to play the crap out of that game. I was not good at it. I couldn't. But that was like one of the first Star Wars games I had on like PS1. Mm-hmm. Just that was insane to take Star Wars and put it over the bones of Mortal Kombat was such a 90s thing.
It is such a 90s thing.
But I loved, that was so cool whenever they, in Solo, were like, dropped Terrace Kasi just so nonchalantly. So yes, I think absolutely, Benjamin, the more Terrace Kasi, the better. What do you think?
Anytime there's hand-to-hand combat in Star Wars, I'm a huge fan of it, because we're so used to lightsabers and blasters. Yeah. And what about a good old brawl, a good old fist fight?
That's true.
So yes, I'm all for it. Kira's a total a baddie, and I love that she took down that one guy in Solo, and I'd love to see more of that. And just give it to me. I'm all down for it, especially if this is a space western. Let's go back to just the basics of your hands.
Totally. I'm thinking like a James Bond style fist fight, not Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones are like all super dramatic. I'm hoping for like a Bond, like like getting thrown through a train wall and like guns involved and going back to fighting, and then someone's held off the side of a ship. I hope it's something like super visceral, but not too bloody. Yeah, guys, this has been an amazing episode. Thank you for joining us, Brad.
Thanks.
One thing I want to say is we really love having your input on this show, and it has been an absolute pleasure having you here, dude. Where can the wonderful Bombad boys and girls listening find you?
Yep. So you can find Friends of the Force at Friends of Force on Twitter, and you can find me at Brad Whipple on Twitter. And our show airs every Monday with a main show where we talk about a specific topic very in depth, including you guys are actually going to be on the main show September 9th, Monday, September 9th.
Stay tuned.
And we will be talking prequel trilogy. So for all of you Bombadists out there, you better listen to that show, because Scotty and Jerry have a lot of good things to say about the prequels. Yeah,
we got sweaty.
And then for sure. And every Thursday we have From a Certain Point of View, where we interview somebody in the Star Wars universe, and we will be having some pretty cool guests on the show up here coming up. We actually may or may not have somebody from The Mandalorian, so stay tuned for that. Sizzle.
Baby. Nice.
Awesome.
So hopefully y'all listen to it. If you like positivity and collaboration, that's what it's all about.
Seriously,
Fantastic.
yeah. Go follow Friends of the Force, guys. Brad, you do an amazing job over there, and
Thank you so much.
seriously, thank you so much for coming on. So.
Yeah, it's been an absolute
Yeah, thank you
pleasure.
again for just having me. I'm super stoked to be on here. So hopefully it won't be the last time.
Yeah, hey, no way,
Definitely.
man. Hey, now that you've been on the
Hint, hint,
Bombad
wink,
cast,
wink.
you can't go far away. So there you go.
No, we're hoping for it, to be honest. After the Rise of Skywalker drops, we're hopefully going to have a big Jedi Council-esque group meeting, giant Skype discussion in regards to what was shown, what we saw, how we feel. Maybe give it a week. We can all sit on it and discuss it after we've watched it 19 times. So,
Yeah,
more than
man.
likely,
Wait. We're putting together a crew.
Brad, this is not your last one. I'll tell you that.
I tell you what, guys. One thing: if I'm gonna get Regal Unlimited come Christmas time, and I'm seeing the Rise of Skywalker at least like
There
20
you
times.
go.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting the AMC pass as well.
Yeah.
I've got to at least see it 3 times a week. So
Exactly. But anyway, y'all, it's been a pleasure. I'm so glad y'all can all join us today in the show. There's one thing we do every episode, and I'm not good at it yet, but there's someone that is good at it, and he's got eyelids that need to be gone, and he's an Ewok. So I want to add those things in post-production for him. But Jerry, what should these people do?
well, first of all, they should follow you at the Scott J. Rowe.
Okay.
They should follow me at the Canon Junkie. And besides all that, guys, you should stay Bombad.
You shall all Bombad.